We arrived to a town called Puerto Natales. This is where we'll be staying for 3 nights while we visit Torres del Paine National Park. Our hotel's name is Hotel Costa Australis. The hotel has beautiful views of the Andes and the Fjord of Last Hope. It is also conveniently located right along the walking path that has multiple sculptures. We headed to Torres del Paine National Park. The Torres del Paine are the distinctive 3 granite peaks of the Paine mountain range, or Paine Massif. Unfortunately, some of the tops of the mountains were covered by clouds. We are currently hiking the Salto Grande waterfall trail. The trail is in the heart of the park. It takes you past famous granite towers of the Torres del Paine. It has picturesque viewpoints. The hike is approximately 2.5 miles. The whole trail is relatively flat until the very small ascent towards the end. Once you crest over, you see the gorgeous 50-foot waterfall. The waterfall is on the Paine River. It funnels water between 2 lakes. The lakes are glacier-fed, which is why the rushing water of the falls is a milky sky blue color. As we entered the park, there is a sign that says, if you encounter a puma, stay calm, be wary, do not run, feeling may trigger an attack. Our guide said that actually seeing a puma is fairly rare and that we probably wouldn't. And then, all of a sudden, on the side of our van, here comes this puma that's going out for a stroll. He then crosses the road right in front of us. Puma is the largest predator in Patagonia, and they like to eat guanacos. They typically weigh between 110 to 176 pounds, depending on if it's a female or a male. And they're about 10 to 12 feet in length. Pumas inhabit 28 countries in the Americas, and Patagonia pumas are one of the largest subspecies. It is found from the tip of Chile up to Arica. In Torres del Paine, the males and females have overlapping home ranges up to 40 square miles in size. We were so lucky to be able to see this magnificent cat. All over Patagonia, there are Guanacos. These are camelid natives to South America, and they're closely related to the llama. The Guanacos live on land high in the Andes Mountains, up to 13,000 feet or 3,962 meters above sea level. They also live on the lower plateaus and plains of the coastlines of Peru, Chile, and Argentina. Unlike llamas and alpacas, Guanacos cannot be domesticated. We were told they never get tame enough to be helpful. Our next stop was to hike towards Grey Glacier by the Grey Lookout Trail. You cross the Pingo River by a wooden suspension bridge, which is a little rickety, and you're only allowed to have 6 people on it at a time. I was very happy when we made it to solid ground.
You survived.
One way.
Maximo, 6 personas.
Next to the trail, we saw a magellanic, or red-headed woodpecker. After you finish walking through a forested area, you come to an open area with dark sand beach. You then have the first glimpse of Grey Glacier. You could see little icebergs in the distance where they broke off from the Great Glacier. It took us about 25 minutes to walk from one side of the beach to the other side of the beach where the icebergs were. Walking on the beach was fairly hard. The beach is made up of small and medium-sized rocks, so every time you walked, you tended to slip and then sink into the gravel. There was a lot of waves in the lake just because it was so windy that day. Of course, I had to touch the water, and it was really cold, which, given the fact there's icebergs floating in, makes sense. Our next stop was to the Megalodon Cave. We walk along this path to get to the cave. The cave was discovered in 1895 by a German explorer of Patagonia named Hermann Herbert. He apparently found a large piece of skin of an unidentified animal. The skin was identified as prehistoric Megalodon. The cave was then explored more, and multiple remnants of extinct animals such as the saber-toothed tiger, dwarf horse, and giant sloth. The monument is comprised of several caves and rock formations called Silla del Diablo, or Devil's Chair. The largest cave in the monument is 200 meters or 660 feet long. The cave is still being excavated by geologists, paleontologists, and archaeologists.
We're on a boat.
We booked a boat tour through Turismo 21 de Mayo. We got on the boat in Puerto Natales. The boat ride is taking us through the beautiful Ultima Espinosa Fjord, or Last Hope Fjord. Fjord got its name in 1557 by the navigator Juan Ladillero. He felt that going this direction was his last chance to reach the Strait of Magellan. It turns out it was an inlet that ends at a glacier and not a strait. The inlet changes water height based on the tide. It receives the water of almost all the surface water of Torres del Paine National Park through the Serrano River. Boating through the fjord is beautiful. You have gorgeous mountaintops along with beautiful waterfalls all over. The boat captain was really good about getting close to the waterfalls and animals, so we had a good view and great pictures. We saw hundreds of cormorants, which perched on the rocks and lined the shores. We also saw a group of sea lions just perched on a rock and sunbathing. Every time we went around a corner, I felt like we had more beautiful views. Straight ahead, we have a glacier that we're coming up to. This is the Balmaceda Glacier. It is in the southern part of Torres del Paine National Park. The glacier is attached to the Serrano Glacier. Our boat docked at Bernardo O'Higgins National Park. We then got off and we are hiking to Serrano Glacier. It is a little drizzly and wet as we hike, which is apparently pretty common in Patagonia. We have just been very lucky not to have it. The hike is right on the water's edge, so you have beautiful views of the lake along with the Serrano Glacier going into the water. On the other side of the glacier, you could see pieces of ice that have been broken off. The hike ends at a dead end with a fence, which overlooks the glacier. You actually could get fairly close. After seeing Serrano Glacier, we hiked back to the boat and then headed back to Puerto Natales. The next day, we spent the whole day hiking through Torres del Paine National Parks by ourselves. It was gorgeous and no one was around, just guanacos and birds. It was really neat just seeing the herds of guanacos run right by us, not even caring that we're there. We even saw a baby and a mama guanaco together. They were so cute. We stopped for lunch at the Cascada del Rio Paine, which is a little waterfall. The Paine River watershed begins in the southern ice field where 5 glaciers are. The Paine River is approximately 18.6 miles long and links to 5 lakes belonging to the melting Dixon Glacier. The area is more notable for its position before the scenic Paine Mastiff than it was actually the waterfall. But as you can see, it's a cloudy day, so we can't actually see the Paine Mastiff, but the waterfall is really pretty. Our last hike in Torres del Paine was along the Magellanic Trail. This trail is on the east side of the park. It is a 4.5-mile hike. You hike towards a rocky cliff lined with ancient petroglyphs, which you can see up close and personal. As you keep walking, you will see beautiful views of the mountains, lakes, and also a lot of guanacos. Torres del Paine National Park has been amazing, but now we're heading to our next adventure.